to really go past my ego and tell people who I am. Because until you see yourself for who you are, nobody else is going to see you. The first pitfall that I really faced was in 2017. I had been in business for about a year and a half. So I was lucky enough in 2016, I got a good contract. It was a traveling contract. They were not paying a lot of money, but it gave me a very good exposure traveling the country. And when you travel, the flight is paid for, the hotel is paid for. It can get into your head. So at some point, I thought, I'm now a big shot. I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna stop traveling and build my business locally. So I canceled my traveling contract prematurely, and I decided to build my business locally. And it took me 4 months before I got my first client. And at that time, I was running out of money fast. So this is what I did, and I haven't told this story that much. I became an Uber driver. Okay, so I got into driving for Uber, and I said, if I'm going to drive for Uber, because I was running behind on my bills, I said I can't just not pay my bills, and I became an Uber driver. And I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be the best dressed Uber driver ever. My passengers with Uber, they were like, so why do you do this? I said, because I want to make money. And they were like, no, you are kidding. So you do this because you just love driving, right? To make extra money. I said, no, I want to make this money. So they couldn't believe that I'm all dressed up. And I would tell them I'm a business coach. I had to really go past my ego and tell people who I am. Because until you see yourself for who you are, nobody else is going to see you. Mitch talked about self-doubt. For me, is being able to appreciate my own value. I have no doubt I can help people. I mean, I've done it, and I'm very confident. I can walk into a room. It doesn't matter how many people I would speak. I can coach anyone. I've done it. I have enough evidence. But growing up in a family where there was no money at all, and then the discussion about money, I didn't get exposed until I came to America way many years after I was here. So there's that little thing that comes in whereby, should I charge them $1,000 or 1,500? I remember the first time I gave a 10,000 proposal, I almost threw up, okay? Because I was like, this is way too much. And this was for a company that had hired me to train their employees. They paid me about $4,000 to train them. And now they wanted me to speak for 2.5 hours in dollars. They were going to pay for the flight, for the hotel, nice place, Renaissance. And I knew that it was worth to charge 10,000. And I drafted that contract, and I kept on going back. Maybe I should charge them 4,000, maybe 2,000. And I had consulted my coach, of course. And the moment I sent it out and I clicked on that button, I had to go to the bathroom and wash my face. So it's only that I'm a black man. Most likely I would have been very red on my face, all right? But this is what happened. I was able to cross that barrier.
I would say the biggest pitfall for me is just self-doubt. Oftentimes, you get really into, when I walked away from my career, I had a lot of the conversations of, I can't believe you're taking this risk. I had 3 kids or I guess 2 kids and 1 on the way when I walked away. So I got a lot of feedback of, you're crazy. This is not a great idea. But I was so excited because there was just such peace in the decision that I had made, knowing that I was heading in the right direction. It was just really, really exciting at the beginning. There was the excitement of, I'm on my own, it's all up to me. And then, a year later, you're like, I'm all alone and it's all up to me. It starts to wear on you. And so the biggest pitfall that I constantly am kind of in is that self-doubt. Man, is this the right decision? Because we all have degrees that we can probably easily go get a job that we're going to be safe and comfortable in, but are we really going to be living? Are we really going to be thriving in what we are doing? And that's the hard part for me at times, is like, man, it would be a lot more comfortable if I could just go to bed at night and not have to worry about anything else but getting up and going to work.
Now I want to ask this question. This might be my second to last question, but I want to ask this because I saw this on your post, Mitch. Someone asked this question. If you had a time to go back to change the major that you chose, what major would you go for and why?
I got asked this question at an organization or networking group that I was presenting at. It was a student that was almost a senior in high school. And she asked me after I kind of told my story and kind of put my engineering career behind, and she goes, I don't know what I want to do with, in college, or what degree to go towards and everything. So if you were to do it all over again, what would you do? And the answer that I gave her is that I don't think there's ever any reason why I would go back and say I want a different degree. Kind of what Isaac was talking about, systems and processes have absolutely excelled and exponentially grown me personally, as well as in my business itself, as systems and processes are absolutely critical to make sure you're staying on task. You know, we've got a lot of automation going on. So I would never go back and say that I would change my degree, because it's invaluable of what has happened because of that experience.